I think I made a mistake though in wearing the jacket today in the studio, but I had to show off my wine pin because my wine pin coincides obviously with what our segment is about today. We are going to be talking about celebrating National Wine Day. 2 days from today, the 25th of May, is one of my favorite food, quote unquote, food holidays, National Wine Day. So because the show's Wednesday, we're preparing for this celebration, which will happen on Friday. All of my guests today are wine enthusiasts, have been in the industry for quite some time. All have got great things for us to taste and try and talk about, and I'm excited to have all of them. My first guest who will be joining me in just a few seconds via Skype is Miro Tcholakov from Trentadue and Miro Cellars in Sonoma. So I'm excited to talk to him. We were just chatting before we got live about the weather out there, so I'll be going live with him in just a second. I have Jamie Puckett from Italy, Boston, who I love Italy. I was just in the New York one, 4 weeks ago. So Jamie's here. She's actually from Providence, went to school here, so I'm anxious to talk to her and hear about the programs that she's now doing over there. Then I have Jessica from the Savory Grape, who will be my third guest. Jessica joined us probably 3-4 months ago, but she's got a lot of exciting things happening at her shop. She's got some new winemakers coming in. She sells Miro's products, which I'm excited for, and that's how we were able to connect. So I thank her and Van. I got to give Van a nice shout out because he helped arrange it. And my last guest, who is this very shy person who will be joining me, is Armando Biseglia from Zuma, Trattoria Zuma, up on Federal Hill. Now, Armando's come on a couple times in the past. He's always got something interesting to say, and Zuma has added some new features in the wine world. So both Armando and Jessica are going to be my guests and talking about pairing up some things and what you can do this coming Friday to help celebrate this wonderful holiday. So wonderful guest list, great things to talk about. I've already got some wines on the table, and with that, I'd like to welcome in Miro. Miro, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we were going back and forth on email. We had a couple different phone calls. Jessica and Van got this together, and both of them were swearing by how wonderful your wines are, both at Trentadue and at your own cellars. And I have to say, I already opened one bottle that I brought in. I had to start on the Chardonnay. It's nice and warm, so I figured I had to start on the Chardonnay. And it's beautiful.
Nice.
So we'll get into your wines in a second to get to these celebrations. But I'm really fascinated by your background. You came to Napa and Sonoma from Bulgaria, correct?
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about that and how you got started in this crazy industry.
Well, it's a long story, but in a nutshell, I wanted to be a doctor, but then I met a girl, and she didn't want to go to med school, so then I stayed at this agronomy school and got a degree in viticulture and enology. And back in 1990, when you guys probably know, the communism collapsed and things got much easier to travel.
Right.
We were invited to participate in an exchange program in the wine business in the United States. And I was one of the lucky 7 that we qualify to get into that program. And that's how I ended up in Napa for about a month, and then back in Sonoma, and that I've been here since.
So you've been here since 1990 for that program.
1990. It was furnished by Future Farmers of America International.
Really?
And yes, my internship was with Dry Creek Vineyards. I started as an intern. 9 years later, I left as a assistant winemaker. And in 1999, I started as a head winemaker here at Trentadue. In 2002, 2003, I started Miro Cellars. And I'm still doing the same thing, pretty much.
You went from being an intern from a program that brought you over to being an assistant winemaker to now being the winemaker, having your own winery, all in 27, 28 years?
That's right, yeah.
That's pretty impressive for someone that wanted to be a doctor originally.
I know. Hey, you know, in some way, I'm not sorry that I did not become a doctor, but now I see a lot of doctors that are enjoying my product. I guess I need some way to vent some stress.
I'm sure you probably have a lot of doctors that wish they followed your path.
Yeah.
So
and there's a lot of those too, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure we can get a lot of them to become investors, which is a great thing. Help Napa and Sonoma grow even more. So
Correct.
This has become, in this 27, 28 years, this has become an incredible passion of yours that you've been able to do. And your wines, both at Trentadue and at Miro Cellars, have become world-renowned, lots of awards. I was reading up that when you launched Miro Cellars, you were winning awards like with your first vintages that you released.
Yeah, that pretty much, yeah, it is. It is true, and so is Trentadue. I mean, when I started here, it was the same thing. We got incredible amount of media, um, accolades, and medals that we knew what to do with them.
That's fantastic. So do us a favor, and for both vineyards, can you kind of paint us a verbal visual of where the vineyards are located, the size and scope of them?
Okay. Um, Trentadue is located just about 4 miles north of Hillsburg, and it's off Highway 101,
Okay.
which is kind of the main artery that connects wine country all the way to San Francisco. So we're about 80 miles up north from San Francisco. And also, Sonoma County is a very long, stretchy county that goes from the ocean all the way inland, bordering with Napa Valley. So we are the most north end of Sonoma County in a valley called Alexander Valley. Across the highway from us is a very famous film producer, Mr. Coppola. And actually, Trentadue was one of the first wineries to be built in this area after the Prohibition back in 1956. So the only wineries at that time that were open was Simi,
Yep.
Italian Swiss Colony, Geyser Peak, and that was about it in this area.
So you were talking about how it's 80 miles up the 101 going, from San Francisco, and I've been to Napa and Sonoma many times and really, really enjoy it. I try to go at least once a year to get over. And it's amazing to me, and we were joking earlier about the climate, it's amazing to me that once you leave San Francisco, the temperature can go up 10 to 15 degrees going into Napa, then go into Sonoma, the temperature could go down 5 or 10 degrees. The climates in that area are just amazing to me.
It is amazing, and that's one of the things that makes this area so desirable and also so well suited to growing grapes, because the temperatures at daytime, diurnal temperature changes are extremely important for growing high quality grapes. There are no coincidences. Just because the names of Napa, doesn't matter how much marketing you put into something, if the product is not there, obviously it's not going to work.
Absolutely.
So that proximity to the ocean, the flow of cold air and fog. Right now it's noon here, and we still have fog from the ocean hanging out there.
Wow.
And at night gets cool, and the daytime the temperature can soar up to 100 and some degrees, and then about 5-6 hours later it's going to drop down to 60 or 65.
That's amazing to me.
So it's a great drinking climate. It always gets cool at night. You don't need air conditioning.
That is perfect. That is a great drinking climate. So where is Miro in location to Trentadue?
Miro, I actually make the wines as a what they call custom crush client, that I'm my own client.
Okay.
And I source the grapes from Miro all over, mostly Sonoma County.
All right.
The Miro motto is very simple: so many vineyards, so little time.
Okay.
So I kind of cherry pick little blocks from here and there, make a little bit of wine that keeps me kind of excited. Trentadue, it's all estate. So there's a great thing about working with estate. There's no surprises. There's a lot of consistency, and there's just a small incremental changes that we do to the vineyards. But with Miro, I just let it rip, and I buy vineyards from everywhere for very various reasons: topology, geography, vineyard management, style, all of these things that make me choose one vineyard or the other.
So basically, you're not sleeping.
Not much. There's no memories while you sleep, so what's the point?
I like that. So in talking about this and celebrating National Wine Day, which is coming up this Friday, like I said, one of my favorite holidays, Van was nice enough to arrange to have 3 of your wines brought in from the L'Astoria side. And I couldn't wait. I had to open up the Chardonnay because it was amazing. And if I'm reading correctly, this is more or less allocated, right? This is only a specific amount of cases?
Yeah, we only make a little bit of Chardonnay because in general we're a red winery, as you call it, and the Chardonnay is produced mostly to be sold directly from our tasting room, and a very few states will get a few cases here and there, and it's not going to be very much because part of the Trentadue business, it's also getting people married. So we do a lot of weddings. And automatically, a lot of this white wine, as you can imagine, it's purchased by
Consumed on
to
premise at
people
the
that,
events.
correct. So it's on premise here, and like I said, very few states will get a very limited allocation of this wine.
So tell me about this Chardonnay, because I'm going to have to drink some more while you tell us about it.
I think this is one of my best Chardonnays that I've made here. The grapes are, most of them actually, most of them are coming from a vineyard that used to be owned by Murphy Good
Okay.
before Kendall Jackson purchased Murphy Good. So this is a block that they used to refer to as the Island Block, and very low yielding. It's an old clone that is called Wenti clone. The growers don't like it because it doesn't produce very much, but us winemakers, we love that clone. So tiny little berries, a lot of concentration of flavor. It was all barrel fermented, and it's partially malolactic, which means it's not fully blown buttery. The butter is there, but it's not overpowering the rest
Right.
of the fruit. Also, there's still enough acidity left in it to keep it vibrant and powerful and fresh at the same time. So it's kind of in a way, it's kind of a crowd-pleasing Chardonnay. It can satisfy many palates. There's enough French oak in it to push it in that direction of being rich but not overly creamy, not flabby. It's just very vibrant. It has all the good things in it.
No, it's absolutely stunning, and it's the taste you're talking about with the creaminess is it's not heavy, it's not overpowering like you're mentioning. This is an incredibly easy drinking wine. I've got these great cheeses here, so I would not be
That
surprised.
is the trick. Yeah, it's very easy to drink. You can drink the bottle without even noticing, but it's not innocent. The alcohol is still there.
It's not innocent. I like that. All right, so next I have the. Should I do the Zin or the next?
Let's do the Zinfandel.
Okay. So the Zin is the 2015 estate bottled, and it says Block 303.
Mm-hmm. Now, I can talk about Zinfandel and Petit Syrah all day long. I fell in love with these two varieties ever since I came to the United States, and they were very frustrating in the beginning, and they still are at some point, especially the Zin. I thought I knew everything about grapes, when I came to California, but then I was introduced to Zinfandel and Petit Syrah, and literally I thought I skipped some classes of ampelography because I didn't know anything about this. The names did not ring the bell at all. Syrah, obviously, I actually corrected the winemaker at the time when he told me it's Petit Syrah. I corrected him and he said, "You mean Syrah, right?" He says, "No, I mean Petit Syrah." So long story short, I was one of the founders of an organization called PS I Love You 17, 18 years ago, which stands for Petit Syrah I Love You, and it's a nonprofit promotional and educational. And I was the president for about 2 years. I've been on the board of directors of ZAP, which is a crazy organization of Zinfandel fanatics called Zinfandel Advocates and Producers.
Wow.
They've been tracked or are recorded as the largest single variety tasting in the world in the book of the Guinness Book of Records.
And it's called ZAP, you said, right?
It's called ZAP, Zinfandel Advocates and Producers. We have a very large event in January, February every year in San Francisco. But I forgot the year when the record was broken, but it was over almost 10,000 people were attending a single variety Zinfandel tasting at Fort Mason in San Francisco.
That's fantastic.
So Zinfandel and Petit Syrah are very much what I consider, many other people consider the same, that they are very American, very Californian varieties. We lobbied at the Congress to put the Zinfandel on one of the quarters. And we almost got to.
I was going to say, how close did you get for that? Because that would have been, I would have been collecting those quarters.
It was very, very close. Let's put it this way. But we lobbied for a National Zinfandel Day. There is such thing. I mean, like all the grapes that we enjoy now, they all came from Europe at one time or another.
Right,
but Zinfandel and Petit Syrah have really embraced the climate of California, and they've become, especially Petit Syrah. There is no other country in the world that grows that much of it or that well. Same thing with Zinfandel. Zinfandel adapted California from all appellations, and it's just a fantastic variety.
Well, I got to tell you, if you go for the coin again and you're going to go for the National Day, I want to be a part of that, so you got to contact the social media because I will help you achieve that in a big way. This Zinfandel is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to get to the Petit Syrah before I let you go, but Miro, answer this for me, is that you've been in this and you basically grew up in this. I mean, in the 27, 28 years that you've been doing this, over that time, you've honed your skills, you've been a part of a lot of great things. I had references that people were giving to me that you're kind of become the Robert Mondavi, but of Sonoma. Education at Trentadue, has it been a big part of what you're doing? I know that you host wonderful events, and I saw fantastic pictures of how gorgeous the vineyards are and the things you can do there, but how, you're talking about these associations that you're part of. How big is that education component to you?
Education as far as mine?
Yeah, as far as educating the consumer.
It's extremely important, but at some point it becomes more of a, how to say it, more of a, I mean, for winemaking, it's more of a gut feeling than science. Let's put it this way. I mean, we do use science only, at least in my case, when it's needed. As far as educating the consumers, I mean, this country, it's incredible in many different ways. And since I've been here, not that I've done any about that, but for the last 20 years since I've been here, there have been incredible growth as far as wine consumption, wine understanding, the mythology about it, the intimidation factor. It's pretty much gone. And the fact that the United States became the #1 wine consuming country in the world is just incredible. For a very short period of time. We still has a lot to be desired as far as how much wine is consumed per capita, but we are the largest volume of wine consuming country in the world. So if we catch up with the rest of the civilized countries that consume about 10 times more, even more, than the average U.S. citizen, sky's the limit. I mean, we simply cannot make enough wine to satisfy the domestic market if everybody catches up with the consumption of, say, France or Italy or Spain.
Right.
So right now we're about maybe 1.5 to 2 cases per person per capita per year, which is...
I'm way beyond that.
Oh, I know. Everybody I know is contributing big time, but...
All right, well, I want to thank you very much for making the time. I know that it's the middle of your workday over there and you guys have got a lot going on. Your season's just starting, but I hope that you get to do some celebrating yourself on Friday to celebrate National Wine Day. We'll continue to talk about these. We'll post these up there, and I'm sure Jessica from Savory Grape, when she joins me, will tell me where we can get some more of these and people can enjoy them because these are fantastic. The Petit Syrah was out of this world. So congratulations to you on a great project and congratulations to you on your success. Thank you for making the time to join us today, Miro.
Thank you, and cheers.
Cheers. All right, so we are going to take a very short pause and we're going to transition to get Jamie in here from Italy. So give us just 1 second. We'll be right with you.